Good morning. Hello, everybody. We are here to have a critical review of argument that is ongoing in Liberia. And that argument is about presidential absence from country and George Weah's son's goal in the World Cup between in the game the United States of America versus Will. So the question is George Weah's absence from the country and his son's goal in 36 minutes of the game between the United States of America and what is the distinctive features that we can look at and be able to discuss this matter, this argument. What is it? When you are discussing presidential absence from country, others may think like Liberians are not celebrating the goal scored by George Weah's son, or President Weah's son, Tim Weah. As a result, people are even thinking like when you discussing this matter, that means you are hateful. That means you are not celebrating President Weah's son. What is the issue? I mean, so as a result, we believe that people do not understand the differences of the two. People are blindly discussing the two, and don't want to be sincere. You are sincere with the country and just be blindfolded and think like, hey, you know what? Some Liberians, they are not just human because President Weah must celebrate with his son or must be with his son while his son is playing the World Cup. Others are saying, no, wait a minute. President Weah has a constitutional obligation to over 5 million persons. So he needed to be in the country to perform the presidential task for which he was elected. Now others say, no, even though he's president, but this man should be celebrating his son's victory or whatever his son is doing, he's supposed to be there. Where do you stand? Well, we have just a short video of Tim Weah's goal that he scored yesterday in 36 minutes of the game. It was celebration, right? He's a Liberian, let me not say Liberian born. He is a Liberian by extension of his father being a Liberian, but Tim Weah is an American. He's a U.S. citizen, so he played for the United States of America. The game of bat is not about Liberia, it's about the United States of America playing another country well. And Tim Weah scoring in the 36 minutes, it was celebration. I don't think there's anybody who did not appreciate or did not see that magnificent goal that Tim Weah scored yesterday. We all, all football fans, the United States citizens, everybody's like, became happy because Tim Weah scored. And that was the only lunar miracle got yesterday, in yesterday's game. So who would not want to celebrate with that? We all admire the young man and declare we must be able to draw the line between the two. Tim Weah's playing and scoring a goal in the game versus President Weah's absence from Liberia. Where do you stand? Should President Weah be out there every time his son is playing game? Or should he, in fact, leave the country for almost 3 weeks? Should a Liberian president, not just George Weah, should a Liberian president leave the country for more than a month and go outside of his duties? That's the issue we have. Law trying to find the uh, vacancies within the presidential office of Liberia, absences of presidential office, president within the presidency, Liberia's presidency. And from all indication, the voice of the crafters of the law, it is not expected that a sitting Liberian president will leave the country for a longer period. That office should not be void. That office should not be empty. That office, there should be no time that the president will be absent from the country for that long period of time. I still want to, there are some things across my eyes when I was doing the reading yesterday, and I'm going to look at those things very carefully some days. Because what I'm reading right now about what being placed in the executive law, it appears to me that people are playing with the laws of the country. People are creating the law or recreating the law to suit, what I would describe as something that, let me leave that because I'm really going to go into it, and I'm going to display some of those things that I'm reading. It's like people are creating laws, or people are inserting into laws some things that don't mean well, some things that are clearly in violation of the Constitution. But I'm going to bring those things out. But this issue, presidential absence from country, George Weah is married. This is my view, and somebody can say, call it hate. Liberian people, when you want to discuss critical issue, they look at it, oh, the man is hateful. I have children, right? I will celebrate my children's birthday. I will celebrate their victory and all of those stuff. And I think every father would do that. But when you have a critical obligation, you must be able to distinguish between the two: my family life, my children, happiness, and duty that you have. Let us assume that James Johnson is working for the United Nations. He has to go to work on a set time. Or let us assume George Weah was working for the United Nations. He can ask, then the United States will have something called leave of absence. This is not about a country of 5 million persons, or let's say 5 million children. And George Weah's let's assume that beside his naturalization, he's a Liberian. I don't know what thing was born in the United States, so I can't say much about that. All right. But his father is a Liberian, and father is, and let me be careful to this, father is Liberian. His father is president of Liberia. We see his victory as a victory for Liberia. However, for his father to leave the country for that long period of time, I'm very sure maybe his son would have asked, Joey's son would have asked him, but Daddy, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be working with the people. I'm fine. I know the American kids, right? I'm fine. I'm going to play the game. You're not going to play the game. I appreciate that you're here with me, to celebrate what I'm doing. But I think you have an obligation to the people of Liberia. You are elected. You're supposed to be at work. Daddy, why are you not at work? Why don't you think Tim Weah would have asked that? Why don't you think they would have discussed those things? The census, what is happening to the census right now? Somebody said, what's going to be the result of the census? So a sitting president has an obligation to the number of citizens, the citizens within the country. Not just George Weah. I don't think any president should just leave the country because, you have personal activities. This is where we want to see. We must be clear to always realize when things are not going right, to say it. It doesn't matter who that person is. No president should leave Liberia just for the length of time. In fact, it is of risk for a president, sitting president, to live for that amount of time because something could happen. I mean, there could be. I mean, sorry for these things, but we can discuss this in vacuum. What if you, have, example, you have a military overthrow, or you have some group of persons who could just get up and say, "Well, I mean, we're going to seize power." That's why people don't take these chances. Leaders don't take these chances. Let me say for that one. Let's assume that Joe Biden, son or daughter, went to Africa to get married or whatever, some celebration or something. You think Joe Biden will leave like America for over 2 weeks without any justifiable reason? The Republican will get on his back. Hard facts. The Republican will get on your back. So Joe Biden will leave for state visit. For right now, Joe Biden is outside of the United States, but it's on official business. So these are some things. I know it's a public debate. People are debating this. Some people you want to debate it. Somebody say, "Oh, you know what? They may is not a him." Some people say, "Oh, I mean, why don't they celebrate? Why don't you go see a song playing?" Well, another leader who say, "Why I was saying a white, well, madam, I mean, I'm a president, taking care of hundreds of presidents, so you will represent us. Our son is playing. I mean, go and see." Extend my greeting, carry this greeting card to him, carry this card to him, or tell him, say, "Hey, I'm with him in spirit. Whatever he does, I'm with him. I know he will do well." So, madam, go and celebrate. Go and say, "Hey, daddy would love to be here, but he's president of a country, so he wouldn't be here. He just want me to tell you that he loves you, with you in spirit, and he wish you well." That could be another approach of another person, right? But just your approach is, I must be there myself to, be with my son. Whether George Weah is with Team Weah or not, the love between the two exists. It's a reality that George Weah, biological son, and George Weah loves his son. And George Weah, nobody is saying George Weah cannot love his son. Nobody in their right mind will say that. But George Weah has an obligation. President Weah has an obligation. He's the president of the Republic of Liberia. He has an employment. Liberian people employ him to work. Again, you can't blame George Weah right now. The first thing we asked for did the legislature, because before the president leaves the country, he writes the legislature to permit him to leave. So we will ask that the legislature give George Weah that length of time to be outside of Liberia. I don't know. I haven't seen um, any communication, neither in the media. I've not seen anything like that. People want to argue things, and we just thought that discussing this matter is important. But let's play George Weah's son's win yesterday. Let me be honest. This just he play. I think everybody appreciate the way he scored yesterday. So let's take a look. Okay, so that was it was not intended for that. Okay, so that was the game, all right, and we all saw how great that goal was. I think Americans, I mean, that was a lunar goal, so it's history. Joe son has made history, right? He scored the lunar goal between the United States government or the United States and the game between the United States and world. So that is history. And so that was a reflection of George Weah days when he was playing, right? Nobody will say, they don't admire that goal. I mean, it's a half fight. George Weah is just, you know, he's on record to being the world best. So his son scoring is of no accident. It's like father, like son. So that's something everybody will admire. But what we're talking about politics, the government of Liberia, the people of Liberia, the well-being of Liberians. In fact, more critically, we were asked the question why Liberia is not in the World Cup. If you had a world best who was not president, what happened to Lone Star? We should be celebrating Lone Star playing in the World Cup. Is Josh Weah preparing Lone Star, or did he not perform well in preparing Lone Star to a World Cup? So he's the world best. He has all of the technical know-how. Lone Star should have gone for the World Cup. Why not? Why not? You should be preparing Liberians. There are already Liberians that have talent, and their talents are buried because of the condition in the country. How many children can play football very well because of what? Conditions in the country. So it is obligated on George Weah to make the country better so that other Liberians, their talents can be spotted likewise. America is better. Team Weah is performing because he had every level of opportunity to perform, to shine. So the president, George Weah, must do likewise, must prepare the country for other young Liberians, for other people's children to be spotted likewise. So it's not blindly discussing the matter, it's about reality. Political affairs. George Weah is president of a nation. The Liberian people elected him to serve, to work. So his son's goal is something that we admire, but it's different from talking about presidential absence from country. That's political affairs. There's nobody who studied the presidential position. Vacancy should not be allowed. When there's vacancy, it must be filled. Absences is wrong. From our days in school, when you absent from school, they start to mark you. They start to look at you. Why are you absent? They want to know why you're absent. You can't give flavorless excuses. I was absent because I had to go. I want to go draw water, and then people are too. Those kind of a frivolous, excuses. Teachers wouldn't have accepted those things. The issue of job when their sons play, yeah, it's true. But Joe is married. They are two. Welcome, two of us. The person will say, "Mommy, look, you go and see the ball playing." I'm with you in spirit. Take the car to him. When you go there hawking on my behalf, just saying I love him. right? But again, this is just a short conversation. I know this is a conversation that's in the Liberian society. People are discussing it. I saw a lot of other comments from social media discussions, and some people are even saying when you're discussing it, I mean, you hate the president. You know, people are hateful and all of those. So what hate has to do with these two things? Just to clearly look at his team. Team we are playing. He did well for America, right? He played and won the lunar goal that America scored to draw with will. And maybe very likely he might just play. I mean, he might score more other goals in the World Cup. Who knows that? We all would be happy to see a Liberian connected child shining outside there. In the same vein, we know that Joshua is president of Liberia, presidential absence for a long period of time, make a lot of people, you know what happened? Let me tell you some of these things that will happen. The people are complaining about corruption already, right? There are some officials of government who even want Joshua to be also for a long time, so that their checks, their vouchers, and everything will pass. Somebody will just keep, so you could lose millions of dollars because of Joshua's absence from the country. Some of you wouldn't look at those things, right? Just say, oh, the people hate the man. When the president is outside of the country, a lot of things happen. Ministers, some of them don't even go to work. Directors, people sit home, people do their own jolly, people do all kinds of stuff. The presence of the president in the country, just his presence. Before people want to do something, ministers will go to work on time. They will do their work on time. But president leaves and go outside for 3 weeks. Trust me, there are officials who are just on their own. There are officials who are like on their own. They don't care. Naturally, human beings just want that free time. And those who think they can maneuver and just get money in a short period of time while the man is away, they get millions of dollars outside the country's coffers while Joshua is absent. People don't look at that, right? Because I know you talk, so all the people hate the man. And somehow we keep talking. When something that is unique to life is when you live within your conscience and live, you say what you're saying, is right. You don't worry about what other people think about you. This is a clear matter. It's not just about George Weah. It's about almost all presidents of nations. If George Weah come home, we're going to get him report and say, okay, Mr. President, you were not here for 3 weeks, and these are some of the issues are happening. Are there cabinet meetings behind? Are people handling situation with the superintendent? There is not census. What census report going to be like? People figure out how authentic, how reliable are those reports going to be. So these are issues we thought to talk about this morning. Tim Weah's goal was magnificent, and every Liberian child will be praised if they make a hallmark. I would praise my children, whether I'm closer to them or not, for their successes. So, of course, we celebrate with George Weah and his son for that great goal that brought pride to America. And then put Tim Weah on the map. It's in history. Those are good things. In the same vein, other things that are happening behind George Weah, why he's outside of Liberia. Some of those things are not curable. If people take money from the coffers without George Weah concerned, we all know what is going on already with governance in Liberia. There's much more to see the president leaves the country. And this is a crucial moment in the history of Liberia. Election is just next year. Census is like a lot of argument, a lot of things going on. So with all of these critical things and the presidential agenda for the year, you have no more time. Next year, the election season, a lot of political affairs going to be taking place. So what can the CDC government do from now to next year? Well, maybe people will say, well, maybe they have their own things, they have their own agenda, they have their own master plan. So what they can do to convince Liberians that they have performed and Liberians should give them the mandate for the second time. But every political leader will be more concerned to be with the people. Why Joe Weah loses the election next year? Wouldn't you people attribute some of these activities to that? Well, Liberians will make a decision. They know what the situation is like. But on this issue, we just want to state clearly that there's a distinction between presidential absence and family affairs. The president is married, he has his wife. If he's not present, his wife will be there. The president has a job, the job must continue. The legislators themselves, if they allow the president to be outside for this long period of time, then George Weah has a right. I mean, he got the backing of the country. The people representative, if they did allow the president to go out for a long period of time, then the president of Liberia enjoyed the blessing of the legislators. So nobody should just be blaming the president. We also should blame the lawmakers themselves. All right. So this is a short video we want to see this morning, and we are saying these things because this is Liberia. It's about Liberia. It's about precedent. It's about things that people would do that others would do after years. Maybe someone would not be living 10, 15, 20, 100 years from now. Somebody can look and say, oh, but George Weah left the country when he was president. He left the country for over 3 weeks. Why not me? My son will be graduating. My daughter will be graduating. My son is attending Wales University, attending, Pennsylvania University. So I need to go watch be taking my son will be taking maybe graduation. So I need to be there, or my son will be taking the exam. I need to be there to tutor my son for the period of the exam. It may not be football. It may be when my son is to be taking his exam for this period. So I need to be there to see. I'm good in the courses that he's doing, so I can be there to help him in the last minute time so he can make a pass. These are situations it is about looking at there's a law. I'm still making some research on that law. The law I'm saying, the one that said people are playing, people are doing a lot. And what I saw last night, I'm definitely going to bring those things out. All right, I don't think the statute should be created that will supersede or give presidential powers that is not assigned in the Constitution. And I saw that. I said, well, it's like people are doing a lot more than what Liberians are thinking about. And until people can read and know what is going on, you're not going to know it. And by the time you look, a lot of things could go wrong. So we want to say thanks. Somebody even said the president should have allowed his wife to present him at that event, to represent at the event. That's right, Amos, and that's what we're talking about. I mean, presidential affairs, there's so many things. Every the presidential papers that some of us have read, you have these activities, that are cataloged. So we hope to see the presidential papers of George Weah one day and be able to read and see how those things have been tailored. Having said those, we want to say thank you so much, Amos, and I see Kobe, I see Patient Blair, and I see all of you who are watching. I want to say thank you so much for watching. This is a short video. Make a comment. There's a debate. We all should discuss it. I mean, you have a view. Don't take my view for it. Give a view. What do you think? Presidential absence is it good for presidents to leave and go on celebration or well-wishing of their child or children while, the country affairs is still going on? What do you think will happen? Don't you think ministers going to be, relaxing? People already go to work late in Liberia, but when I see the presidential convoy passing, the minister want to be at work. I'm not the late Samuel Doe woke up one morning, went to the Ministry of Finance, that dismissed people that because they were not at work. Right? But instead of George, we are checking on the ministers to make sure whether they are at work or not, it's out of the country. So the ministers don't want to work already, and the president leaves. They say, okay, boss man, let me go on my farm, or let me go, have some break while the president is away. These are the kind of things we're talking about. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. This is 2A Radio, the African Actions Network radio and television station. Thank you for being there. and this is your station. Have a pleasant and wonderful day. I wish you all good luck. Those of you who life is not favoring right now, keep pressing on. Don't give up. There's time for everything under the sun. Don't give up. If your son is playing football, keep encouraging your son too. Even if his darkness is coming, let your son go and study. No matter whatever the situation is, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You too can celebrate your son or your daughters one day. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant and a wonderful day. Bye for now.